Men who were sexually assaulted by women. What's your story? Serious. The owner of the company would sit on my lap and talk about how I couldn't handle her. HR grabbed my ass and said she could blow my mind in front of 2 other women. She had a huge crush on me. I was 23 and all the women were 40-45. The first time was by my babysitter around the age of 10. I didn't know what I was doing was bad or wrong because I was giving her special kisses. She had me performing oral sex on her while she'd watch her trashy TV shows and my brothers were outside playing. My mom didn't believe me and she kept my babysitter employed for a year or so when my babysitter finally moved. Yeah. My trust in women is pretty f***ing minimal even 20 years later. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. And we love and trust one another. She's been the exception to the rule. I love her and trust her completely. Thanks for all the support everyone. I was maybe 10 years old. My adopted aunt was about 16. She was babysitting me and said I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And let's rub them together. I didn't know any better at the time. And she was in charge of me. I don't think it's affected me much. But it's weird to think about. Sometimes I wonder if she remembers. Not lucky. Made me feel icky and used. I was walking on the sidewalk. A woman walking the other way grabbed my junk. I was probably 12 or 13. I didn't think much of it at the time. Now I know it was sexual assault. This happened last year. I'm 24. Didn't have a condom and I told her I didn't want to have sex without one. A little while later she's going down on me. And since we're in the dark, I didn't notice her pause and she adjusted herself on top of me. She slipped my dick inside her stealthily and that really pissed me off and I told her to get off. Went home after that. At day camp when I was 13. I'd barely kissed a girl and she was a little older and clearly experienced. She forced herself on me, really just kissing, but it was awful. She did it every day repeatedly when I went back. I was petrified kind of literally. I'd go home feeling deep shame and didn't want to go back. For years I kind of debated with myself if it counted and always felt silly bringing it up. But it definitely impacted my sexual experiences to this day. So I guess that counts as assault. I got blacked out from a full day of drinking Long Island's and this girl I worked with shoved her hands down my pants and started kissing me. I was drunk enough that I literally just stood there unresponsive. The only reason I know is because my friends told me about it later. Honestly, the only thing that bothers me is that nobody stopped her even though I was completely out of it. Not sure if this counts. I was 11, girls were 12 at a day camp pool party. One of the girls who I at first thought was cute, G1, came up to me with her friend, G2, and started talking to me in the pool. We play around for 5 minutes, splashing water at each other, until they trap me into a corner and start talking about how they've never seen or touched a dick before. G2 holds me to where I couldn't move and G1 goes underwater, pulls my trunks down and plays with my junk for 4-5 seconds until I got free. I swam away and then even played with them again later. Never thought of it as an assault because I guess I kinda liked the girl, but now that I think back it was kinda bad. When I was really young, like 4 years old, there was a neighbor girl. She was like 18 or 19 years old. I recently re-examined a lot of my childhood. And it's really odd. Lot of very disturbing memories came back very fast. I remember her playing very strange games with me. And as a kid I obviously didn't know better. She'd force me to kiss her and strip naked and other things I really don't want to get into. I don't remember her name. And we moved away from there a long time ago. It's been 13 years and I haven't brought it up to anybody. I constantly feel disgusted with myself now. After that moment of realization, I haven't really spoken to anybody about it either. Not my family nor my close friends. Mom here. I've been explaining to my 3 daughters the meaning of consent and that it doesn't just apply to women. The conversation happened because my youngest is a little fast with boys and she tends to get aggressive and got in trouble at school. So we had to have this talk. Don't touch. Don't kiss. Don't grab. Grope. Nothing. It's called sexual assault and you aren't exempt just because you're a girl. Honestly, it's destroyed my trust and a lot of relationships I have with other women and people in general. I wouldn't say I'm gay because of it. But I did turn to men first before women, and now that I'm in my late 20s I'm starting to actually find myself attracted to women. But I'm honestly afraid. Edit. Oshti. You asked for a story, LMAO. Well, long story short, it was by a trusted family member and it went on for years. Went drinking with my boss. She got me really drunk. Told me my GF was cheating on me. Also worked together. I got upset. She offered to take me home. Tried to pull off my pants in the taxi aggressively. I said no. She promised to help me at work. Give me money, etc. I repeatedly said no. She made threats. I called my GF. She came and helped confront my boss. Couldn't go back to work. Ended up quitting. Not the first time, not the last. Just the biggest impact. I was 9 or 10. And my parents had a babysitter that we had never had before. They had purchased some furniture from her parents. And somehow it led to her babysitting us. I have no idea how old she was. Maybe 13 or 14. While going to bed, she pushed me down onto the bed. And grabbed me. Once she was done, I got the classic "if you tell your parents I will hurt you" line. I blocked most of what happened out. But the one thing I do remember is that she smelled like that fake rubber novelty dog tea you can get in tourist trap stores. I never dealt with it until I had kids of my own. And I realized how much it screwed me up. I wish I had gotten help years ago. But very glad to have good help now. It's my biggest fear that what happened to me happens to one of my boys. I'll just say, wasn't me. But a friend told me, someone we both knew, had basically carried him back to her room while he was drunk. He was smaller and she was bigger than him, and basically threw him on a bed and performed oral sex until he was hard and then arped him. Strange thing was I had had consensual sex with her before. But she was definitely disturbed. She confided with me that she was molested as a child and I said we shouldn't have sex, and then she kinda forced herself on me as well. It's weird looking back. But hearing him tell that story I realized how grey the area was and how she really talked me into something I wasn't sure of. Regardless, I think our pay is a lot more grey an area than most are willing to accept. I wouldn't say I was arped since I did want to have sex with her. But my friend told me he was definitely not in the state to make that decision. Made me think about how much power women actually have during sex on both ends. I was in a bar with my wife. Random cougar walks up. Days nice and rubs all up my chest and arms. I push her away. Wife is shocked. Later, same woman comes up and full on grabs my dick and looks me in the eyes. My wife and I both just freeze in disbelief. Lady walks away. I'm shocked and my wife cries the whole drive home. I went to Pride in SF and did way more cocaine than anyone should ever do in their life. I found a whole gram on the floor of a bathroom and went back to a friend's house with her and another friend. Because we were all coke, we were also drinking a lot. The sun starts to come out and we all decide to get into bed. She's all over me and I'm beginning to crash hard and tell her I absolutely do not want to do this. And I definitely don't want to do it with someone else in the bed. She didn't care. My body starts reacting to the stimulation even though I kept saying no. She mounted me and rode me. As someone else is pretending to be asleep next to us. I eventually throw her off and say I need to puke and go to the bathroom and fell asleep against the wall. It was honestly f***ing awful and I deeply resent the person for it, but here's the absolute kicker. She was my boss. She ended up apologizing a lot and I did forgive her, but I'll never forget that. Got sexually harassed, abused by my mother as a kid. Wasn't that long ago either. I'm not even in my 20s. Saying that it isn't hard to deal with it would be an understatement. I didn't take it seriously. I guess because of social norms.